Alright, so just before we get into everything here, I just want to say that this video is a bit of a longer one, and I've tried to record this 3 times now. It's just not worked out, so I hope that this attempt is good and it explains everything as clearly as possible. I try to do it in the most timely manner possible, and I hope it's not too long of a video. You don't need to watch anything on screen. I'm just going to be talking throughout the whole thing, but I want to update you guys as honestly and as clearly as I can about everything that's been going on, so you guys are all in the loop and you're not just left behind. So you can tab out if you want to. It's all good. It's all good. I'm really sorry for everything. I hope that this video explains it all, and there's a new direction we're heading in with the channel, and we're going to be making a very, very, very big change. It just was sticking to our schedule. I'm sorry for letting so many of you guys down, because I feel like I honestly have. I said it a million times in the video to come, but I'm sorry if you felt let down by anything that I've done, especially with keeping consistent with my schedule and stuff like that and just uploading. I've done a horrible job at it. I'm finally ready is the word to use to just get it in motion, man. I'm sorry for slacking, you guys. I just hope you're all willing to hear me out. This is a bit of a long one, but if you have the time, feel free to watch it all. I just wanted to lay it all out how it is, and hopefully you guys understand. And with that, I'll hopefully see you guys in the next video, as well as don't forget that I will be live streaming as well. So after this video is over, come check out the stream or watch this later on if you want to. But the first link in the description, come click on it. We're going to be live streaming for a bit. I'm going to be live for like 5-6 hours today. So come hang out. I hope to see you there. And yeah, with that, enjoy the video, guys. I'm sorry for letting you all down, but I hope this all explains it. Any YouTuber or content creator, I'm sure, can agree with me on this, that when you take breaks, you're definitely fearful of what's gonna happen when you come back. And I know that I am notorious for taking several breaks throughout each year when I've been doing YouTube. I've just always been notoriously bad for randomly going on these random breaks without saying much, and I really just want to sit down and update you guys on what's been going on and do it in the shortest amount of time possible. The simple reason for that is I've already recorded this video twice. I wasn't satisfied with the way it turned out. Number one, because of the length of both of them, and just overall, I feel like I could have said things in a more clear and more well-worded way. So basically, I just want to update you guys, keep it simple, and get straight to the point about what's been going on, because I know a lot of you dudes have been questioning whether I've been dead or what's happened to me because I haven't been uploading or streaming, and I kind of just left without any word of notice. So I just want to be honest and explain everything as it is, so that way you guys can fully understand where I'm coming from, and that's something like and then hopefully we can move forward from here with better intentions and whatnot, and I've got good ideas to fix everything. So the first thing that I want to kind of just nail down is lately I feel like I've been really overwhelmed with a lot of stuff going on. This by no means has anything to do with you dudes specifically. It's nothing to do with you guys or really YouTube related, I guess. Part of it is a bit of all of that, I guess, but it's not a massive part of it, and it's not the major reason why I've been feeling overwhelmed. There's a lot of stuff in my personal life, some stuff I wouldn't really care to go into, just because it's not really relevant to you guys, and also just stuff that that's coming up, certain dates that are set for the next month. I've got a lot of busy dates coming up throughout the month of March. As an example, I think it's the 6th or the 7th, my boy Joey's flying into Canada, and he's going to be coming and staying down here for 3 weeks, and then him and I are going to be heading to PAX East, and we're going to be hanging out there. I'm also going to be, I think, about a week later after I get back from Boston, from PAX East, I'm going to be going to Toronto Comic-Con, and I'm going to be hanging out with some people there and actually doing some stuff that I was invited out to go hang out, and I'll talk about it closer to the time of the event and all that, but, just a lot of cool stuff's going on at the moment, so, I can't really, seem to find a way to focus myself, and I've been really, as I like to call it, lost at sea, because lately I haven't been able to get a clear state of mind with anything that's been going on. So I've just had a lot on my plate, and there's been just so much going on in my personal life that it's kind of taken away so much time from me being able to do stuff on YouTube and make content and stream and all that. But I don't even think that it's taken up so much of my time to the point where I can't make content, which doesn't really explain why I wasn't, uploading for a week. And I honestly think that I was just too flustered to get into the right headspace, as I was saying. Generally, whenever I feel like I'm not in the right headspace, I will usually just either take a small break, go sit down for a little bit, and then come back to it later on. But I genuinely feel like if I'm not thinking straight, if I'm not in the right headspace, if I'm not in the correct mood to be in when I want to go record or when I want to go stream, I feel like it's gonna all go wrong, and then like my anxiety will take over and make me think that, you know, people aren't gonna enjoy it. And sometimes, you know, that is the case, because I don't like having a negative attitude. I don't like having a negative vibe when I'm making my content and when I'm streaming and whatnot, because if I have a negative attitude, you know, that shines through to you guys, and it doesn't make anybody want to be involved. So that's the whole reason why, like, I sort of get scared and nervous that sometimes if I fire up my stream and I start streaming for you guys for a bit, I'm gonna be letting people down if I'm not like feeling the same way, you know, as usual. And there's been a lot of like hectic stuff going on in the last couple of months, like basically since December, and it's just kind of been progressively getting worse and worse up until this point. And I think the first step, I was just about to say, the first step of fixing it is addressing it. I just needed to address what's been going on so that people, or you legends, can understand, all you people can understand what's been going on with me, and you're not necessarily worried that I'm like trying to like ditch you guys, or I'm just going incognito or whatever, or I'm quitting. That's definitely not the case. It's by no means the case. It's the farthest thing from the case, actually. But I think I finally started to get back on that road, or get back on my horse again, as they like to say, because I've thought of good ways or good things that I can do to help make it less stressful on me on the YouTube side of things, so that way basically my personal issues in my personal life won't bleed over into the YouTube life. Or it's not like they're two different lives or personas, but I like keeping them separate because I don't like bringing my personal problems into like YouTube or anything like that. I just like addressing them separately because it's not important, you know. And I think the way that those two bleed between each other is when I have too much going on both sides at once. So if I've got too much on my personal side of things and I've got too much on like the YouTube content creation business side of things, if I have too much, it's gonna slowly fill up the space and then they're gonna collide together. So I need to, like, in order to make sure that I stay on top of my workflow and don't get too stressed out with things, I figured out the exact way I'm gonna go about doing that, and I'm gonna promise you guys that this is going to all lead for a change. And so I hope that you guys are ready to listen. First of all, just note that I'm sorry, and hopefully you guys can forgive me for that. But from this point forward, we're going to apply these things, and we're going to make sure, I'm going to make sure that I'm going to stick to these, like I said, and I'm making this promise to you guys that there will be a massive change going on with the channel. Actions speak louder than words, so you'll have to see it to believe it, I'm sure. But I'm telling you right now so that you can see it when it does happen, that there will be some big changes made. And right now, in truth, I'm feeling much more motivated than I ever have been now that I finally realized all of this. So after I realized, you know, how much I've been letting people down and how many of you dudes who've probably been let down by me, we need to make a change. So first of all, what I want to do, until some more stuff in my personal side of things clears up and clears off my plate, what I want to do is I want to go ahead and start taking Mondays off. No more Monday streams for the time being, just because I think streaming 4 days in a row, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, that's really straining, and it will hinder my performance, and it will most definitely, some weeks I can attest to the fact that I just don't feel like streaming because I'm exhausted by the end of it. Streaming sometimes on the weekends, I go for anywhere from like 5 to like 9 hours, and it can be an extensively long stream, and I can, you know, there's been times where I put in 18 hours of streaming on Saturday and Sunday alone. So it's, you know, you can't really blame me if I don't feel like streaming again for another couple hours the next day sometimes, if I'm not really right in the right headspace. It's not so much like, oh, I don't want to get out of bed, I don't want to stream, this is boring. No, I love streaming. People don't understand that sometimes, but it's just a matter of like, if I can feel like I'm going to get in the right headspace, if I'm not too mentally exhausted, so that way I can get back on the stream and just go ham again, you know? Like, I feel like I have to be in the right mood and headspace for that. So hopefully that makes sense, and that way taking this one day off, it'll break that like 4 day in a row streak, so that way I don't need to feel as stressed out that like if I'm not feeling that great Monday, especially after streaming all weekend long, that I don't need to worry about it, and I can take that day off to not only just recuperate and rejuvenate and do all that stuff to sort of feel better, but then I can also use that day as a day to produce video content, because for the longest time now I've been wanting to get back to making regular video content. So we can use that day to produce regular video content. We can use that day, like I said, to just recuperate and just chill out for a little bit, and I can also use that day to plan ahead for new streams and new video ideas and just new content in general, and obviously use some time to myself in general just to do my thing. So I think taking Mondays off for the time being, could be for a couple weeks or it could be for a few months, I'm just going to be taking those off the schedule for now, so I'll only be streaming Wednesdays and Fridays at 5 p.m. and Saturdays and Sundays at 1 p.m. and that's in Eastern Standard Time. So that's just going to be the case for a couple of weeks. Probably if packs and all that stuff happens and my my plate feels more cleared up and free and whatnot, then that way I should be able to bring back the Monday streams. But I was thinking probably closer to around the time of like summertime, like end of May, June-ish, I want to go ahead and like implement this new schedule, probably go every single day, maybe for less time on certain days so I don't get completely burnt out. But like when summer starts, I want to go ham with streaming, guys. So I want to make sure that you dudes are on the same page as everything that's going on with me, so that way you know, here's the schedule, here's what it is, this is what it's going to be, and there's no more being left out so you don't know what's going on anymore. So again, Wednesdays and Fridays, 5 p.m. EST is when I'm going to start, and then Saturdays and Sundays at 1 p.m. EST is when I'm going to start. And also my schedule can be found in the description and on my banner on my channel, so you can check both those places and they should be able to let you know exactly what's going on. Now, with that also said, I want to spend more time, like I said, making video content, so taking Mondays off will allow me to do that, and it'll also allow me to feel less stressed and pressured on some days when maybe like my anxiety might be flaring up a little bit. Like if I feel like I'm too overwhelmed with too much stuff, I'll get a little bit anxious. I don't have that bad of anxiety, but like it can get pretty bad if I have too much going on. So I gotta let it all do its thing, let it all run its course, and make sure that like I'm obviously taking care of myself first, but I also don't want to let you guys down anymore. So I just hope most of you can understand where I'm coming from with that, and then that hopefully makes sense as to why I'm taking Mondays off the schedule, because now I feel like I'll actually be able to stick to my schedule properly, and I won't feel pressured and thinking, okay, I didn't stream Monday, and then Wednesday comes along and something comes up and I gotta cancel the stream, and then Friday comes along and I'm like, oh god, I haven't streamed all week, and now, Friday I'll be like, okay, let me stream for like 8 hours to make up for it, and then I'm up to like 1 a.m. I'm destroyed the next morning because I didn't get much sleep, and then, I go and stream the next day at like 1 p.m. And so I gotta get proper sleep, I gotta get better at that, and I just gotta get better at time management. And I think overall, by taking Mondays off, it'll allow for that bit of extra time that I would definitely need to make for better content throughout the week and just make for a better lifestyle and schedule in general. That also said, the other thing I've been neglecting, and I really just want to get this across to all you legends who are still watching at this point, that I promise that I am going to get back to all of my messages before I go to PAX, because that's on the 10th to the 12th of March, and I'm going to be over at PAX for a couple of days and whatnot. So before I go and I let any more of like a backlog happen, I want to make sure that I go ahead and respond to as many messages as I can, and I know I've been slacking with that, and honestly, since December, like I said, I've been feeling this mix of like anxiety, being overwhelmed, and just not really knowing what direction to go in some certain circumstances. And so being or feeling a bit lost at sea as I just didn't really have the time to be able to sit down and respond to messages, because it got to a point where I felt like I couldn't even keep up with them anymore because I was getting so many per day, and I felt horrible. And I was like, you know what, I'll just get back to a bunch of them later, I'll get back to a bunch of them later, get back to a bunch of them later, and it didn't ever really happen. Of course, I usually do get back to like 10 messages or so per week, or I try my very best to, like on Instagram and Facebook and all that. I try my best to get as many in as a week as I can, but it's definitely not as many as I could be doing, and I know that I've been neglecting people way more than I should have been, and this message is probably still back from September that I haven't even gotten back to yet, and I genuinely feel horrible about that. But I just hope you guys all understand, with the amount of people that are trying to talk to me, it's hard for me to be able to respond and interact with everyone. That goes not only for like my Instagram, Facebook messages, all that stuff, like fan mail, it goes with the comments too. Like, it's so hard to interact with every single person on a live stream or in the comments of a video. As much as I can try my very best to, it's just not possible to interact with everybody all at one time. Hopefully I'll be able to interact with every single person individually at some point or another, but it's just for right now, I can't do it all being one single human being. So I just hope you guys understand and don't hate me too much for the backlog, because now I'm making myself a promise that every single day, and if I don't manage to do it some days, if I just legitimately don't have the time, and it's not an excuse of, oh, I don't have the time, if I actually don't have the time to do it, then I'll reschedule and put it off to like the next day or whatever. But I want to go ahead and start spending at least an hour of my day during my free time until I'm more caught up and all that stuff. I want to spend an hour of my day responding to messages, just so that way, number one, you guys know that I genuinely do care about everything you have to say, and that also I really just feel bad that it's taken me this long. So I think the only fair thing to do is spend some of that time and just get back to as many of you legends as I can who I know who have been waiting for what I have to say and waiting for my response. And so I'm sorry for that. I genuinely am. And I know what it's like to feel ignored, and I hope I didn't make any of you feel that way. I'm sure I did, but I don't want anybody to feel that way. That's the opposite of what I want the Jason Nation to stand for. We don't want to make people feel excluded. I want everybody to feel included. So hopefully you don't feel that way, and just look out for your inboxes for the next couple of weeks, because I'm sure you'll definitely get a response to me if you've sent me in a message within the last couple of weeks to months. I'm sorry it's taken so long, but as soon as I've gotten caught up, I'm gonna do my very best to still continue doing this on a daily routine, or maybe put in an X amount of time per week, just so that way I can guarantee that I will never fall behind with my messages again like I have right now. Because you guys know I always used to respond to every single message and comment I got, but nowadays, like I said, it's just so much harder because there's so many of you legends who want to be a part of what we're doing. It just makes it physically impossible to be able to get back to every single person in a timely manner. So I hope you guys can understand that. That's one thing that's been eating away at me as well. I just don't want people to feel like I'm ignoring you, and I don't want people to feel left out. I just want you all to understand that that's basically what's been going on. I've been overwhelmed with a lot of things in my personal life, with YouTube a little bit as well. I've been overwhelmed because I feel like I'm letting people down by not responding and not updating and not getting back to messages and all that stuff. And I feel really just genuinely horrible that I've been so inconsistent with my updates for you guys. I mean, I do update on Twitter and whatnot, but I gotta get better at using my other social medias as well, so that way people who don't have Twitter can see my updates like, hey, I'm not streaming today, so that way you don't have to waste your time and schedule it and be like, okay, I'm gonna sit down at this time to watch Jason stream. I just feel horrible, man, for all those people who have dedicated their time to come watch my content and I haven't pulled through for you. I'm sorry for that. I just hope that we can move forward from here and you guys understand, what's been going on, and that hopefully now that I've seemed to get a bit more of a grasp on things, then this way we can just move forward from here and hope for the best. And I think in truth, I'm ready to put in the amount of work that is necessary to keep things afloat here. I know that it's all on me to be able to keep things going. Support on the videos, like leaving thumbs up, comments, and just coming back and watching the content is all I can ask from you guys, because that's all that you dudes can do to support what I do. You can support the channel and help it grow by doing all that, and I appreciate the heck out of the people who do that. And that's all that I can ask you guys for. But other than that, it's all up to me, So I gotta make sure that I'm providing you dudes the content that you were looking for, and not the content or not no content at all, because in truth I feel like that's just a lazy effort from me, and it's time to change all of that. So hopefully you guys understand where I'm coming from. Hopefully you understand my reasoning, and hopefully you're not too mad at me as well. I just hope from here we can move on from this point forward, and I'll show you guys what I'm really made of, I guess. I'll show you guys what the Jason Nation is really capable of, or rather what I'm capable of. And I'm sorry again for letting so many people down, but I think now is the time when I have no choice. I gotta take it as seriously as possible, because honestly, I felt like, again, I've just been letting people down, and it's time to change that, man. So I'm sorry if I've let you down, honestly, from the bottom of my heart, but I hope that we can make ends meet and move forward from here, and just do nothing but legendary and awesome things. That's all I can ask for. So hopefully you accept my apology. But with that all said, hopefully you guys are ready for me to stick to my new schedule. Hopefully you're ready to take part again in what we have to offer on the channel, and hopefully you're ready for the new direction that we're headed in, because I don't want no more negative vibes at all. I just want positivity from this point forward. So hopefully you guys are ready for that. If you are, you know what I'm about to say. Leave a thumbs up and all that good stuff. And yeah, I will catch you legends in the next, I was about to say Pokemon Sun and Moon video, but the next video. Thanks for watching.